Hey everybody, it's Deanna with toolsofenergyprotection.com, your energy shift expert. And today is July the 2nd. And so this is the energy shift forecast for July 2nd to July 8th, 2019. In the studio, if you will, of toolsofenergyprotection.com, we were talking about these latest energy shifts and how crazy things are. People are going nuts and they don't even understand why. There's there's so much pervasive energy happening. So in the past, I have attempted to keep these broadcasts down to about 7 to 10 minutes so they're digestible for everybody to watch. And it has come to my attention that I really need to do two broadcasts. I need to do the Tuesday Night Live where I come on, talk a little bit, let you ask questions and interact. And then I also need to do a more deep dish where I talk about more of the energies that are happening in a given week and really discuss deeply what's happening and give people a little bit more of an understanding. So in lieu of that, I'm going to do a bridge between the two. And then starting at the end of July, 1st of August, I will be doing two separate ones. Stay tuned because I will announce what those are and what those look like. Well, everybody, where are we in time and space? What's going on? If you saw the post I put up here yesterday, you will see Schumann's resonant frequency, and that's the electromagnetism. That's the heartbeat of the earth, and it is just phenomenal. Usually you will see the heartbeat of the earth rise, and then it'll come down a little bit, and then it'll rise, and it'll come down a little bit. But on this particular week, I ran the report yesterday, the frequency is at all levels, everywhere from the level we feel it in the human body all the way up to the spirit level. And it runs about 4 hours at that level, and then it comes down where we would normally get a rest. And when it comes down, it's digging deeper into more the physical level, and the colors are red, and the numbers are really super high. So it's a little bit like having an earthquake and being able to feel the earthquake underneath your feet. That's a little scary, and it depends on how much of an earthquake there is as to how scary it gets. And so if you would imagine that this is a bioelectromagnetism, this is a biofrequency that happens on the planet, and this frequency is having a frequency earthquake. And it is shaking, and it is shaking the emotions of every human being on this planet. And it's also, that's when it's really, really low down here at the human level, it's shaking our emotions. And then when it goes up higher, it's shaking the spirit, divine self. And then in between that, also the logical self. So you're like, Deanna, what does that mean? What that means is that the logical energy, the brain of the logical mind that every human has, that figures things out, that puts things together, that figures out problems, is being pounded literally every 4 hours with this huge energy frequency that's like, let go, let go, let go, let go. And the logical mind's like, there's a problem. Where am I going to find the problem? What is it? What do I need to let go of? And it's freaking out because logically, there's nothing to let go of. It's tapping on the logical brain saying, let go of what's causing you not to fully be in your heart space and feel emotion. That's what it's saying. Now, that in itself is usually enough of an energy shift, and so that will affect the logical people, and it won't affect the heart people, and life goes on. The energy frequencies are also affecting the heart, the feelings, the emotions. I worked with a couple of ladies this week that are like, I don't know what's going on, what the energy is going on. I'm really afraid because, I've been in a marriage 10, 12, 13 years, and it's okay. It's not the best, but I don't have anything to complain about. But there's no passion in my marriage, and I'm done. I'm ready to leave. And the only reason I'm not leaving is, and I heard several different reasons. Every reason I heard not to leave the marriage was logical. They were in their logical brain reasoning why their emotions that told them, you're done, get the heck out, this isn't working for you, weren't being listened to. Now, am I condoning that women go, oh, look, Deanna's talking about it, and they pack up and run to the door? No. There's nothing wrong with thinking about things in the logical brain. But what I advise both of these clients, and what information that I got from Spirit, is that the heart is being also stimulated. So the Schumann's resonant frequency is going logic, heart, logic, heart, logic, heart, logic, heart. And, you know, it's enough to make you want to throw up. Oh, anyway, if you feel this way, if you could give me some thumbs up, that would be great. Maybe the people on the live aren't the ones feeling it tonight. I don't know. But what's happening is that our spiritual consciousness is also in this mix. And our connection to God, spirit source, is so super important right now because it's the only thing that can help you. Your heart is not making sense to your brain right now. And your brain is not making sense to your heart right now. So you literally have two different energies that are being stimulated to respond. Stimulated by the frequency on this planet, which is divinely orchestrated by God, spirit, or source. And so you're getting emotions, logic, or logic, emotions, whichever way you want to look at it. And this is disturbing relationships deeply. And I'm talking about all relationships, just not our heart relationships, not people that are our lovers, people that are our spouses, people that are our partners. Those are the ones that are feeling it the most because generally those are the people that you go to when you're hurting. And they're hurting too. And if you've ever seen two hurting people, they will either comfort each other, break down, cry, pray, and hold each other through that time, or they will fight. So if you're having that kind of thing going on in your personal relationship right now, I would recommend that you be the bigger person, buck up, step up, and say, hey, we're both having a tough time right now, and hug, right? And make sure the other person's not pissed off, because personally, if I'm angry, I don't want you hugging me. But seriously, these emotions for the next few weeks will not be easy. This is not a time for wimps. This is not a time for people who don't want to change. So, most of you have been with me a while, I'm a mom. And when my beautiful daughter throws a tantrum because she doesn't want to do something, I simply hold my hand out straight and I point. And that point is for her to go cool down in her room until she can talk to me in a way that we can solve the issue. So I'm lovingly, even though I usually stretch my hand all the way out, I'm lovingly going to tell every one of you that doesn't want to change what's going on and is trying to ignore it, go figure it out, okay? Go figure it out. My guides were telling me that the name of my company, the name of my website is toolsofenergyprotection.com. They said tools is plural. You haven't been talking in pluralities. So I'm starting that today. So we'll get to that in a little bit. I brought some additional tools to help you. But what I'm going to ask you to do today is to share with people who are having these troubles or problems or challenges. Please share this video. They'll get a chance to see me. They'll get a chance to hear what's happening. And then they can reach out to me if they like. If not, that's fine. But wouldn't you rather know than not know? How would you like to be feeling these emotions inside and not know where they're coming from? And, the emotions aren't limited to relationships with other people. They are also relationships about ourselves. And I've had several people reach out to me this week about suicide because they're so unhappy with themselves. They don't know where to turn. They don't know what to do. And the frequencies are up and down, up and down. And they're like, I hate this life. I don't want to be here. I have nowhere to turn. People don't care. It's not very logical, but it is emotional. And that's why we're seeing these roller coasters. So, again, I'm going to encourage you that if you're having a real big challenge right now with what's going on inside of your mind and your emotions, sit down, take a deep breath, write it out, figure it out. I would also recommend for those of you that maybe this is the first time you've run across this, you might want to have your hormones checked, because when our hormones get wiggy, all kinds of things happen in our minds and our hearts and all that. And in wisdom, we have to check every angle. Check your diet. What kind of foods are you putting in your mouth? Especially foods. So let's go ahead and talk about the tools then. Tools of energy protection. So protect your energy this week until we meet again next Tuesday here at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Time. I'm going to show you several tools that can help you during this time of emotional and logical ups and downs. My guides were telling me it looks a little bit like oil and water when you shake it up. That's what's happening to us now. And when it sets down, everything's going to separate. And this doesn't mean that relationships are going to end. Okay? Because I checked about that, I meditated about that, I prayed about that. I said, does that mean that a lot of my clients that are calling me are going to end their marriages? And I got, no, that's not it. What's happening is there are things in relationships. There's a beginning in a relationship, there's a middle in a relationship, and sometimes there's an end in a relationship. But in all those places in the relationship, there's some things that begin. Like you might begin seeing each other every Friday night and you love it. Do you stay there? No, you might move to seeing each other Friday and Saturday, or maybe you move to just Saturday and close Friday off. But it's a progression, it's a change, it's a beginning of one thing and a closure of another. But it doesn't mean that the relationships will end. And especially with ourselves, we may be closing things off. I know last week I found myself saying, I am so done with this, this, and this. Things that have been in my life for over the last 2 years, and I'm just done with them. I don't care to engage in them. I don't care to address them. I don't care to tolerate them. And I don't care to put up with them. And one of those things was about myself. I've been tolerating my own bad behavior and the way that I was doing certain things in my business, allowing things to slide, not getting things done, putting it off and saying I'll do it next week. Is that really a good thing in my business? No. And so I realized that it wasn't good for me, it wasn't good for my clients, wasn't good for my viewers. And so I was done with the bad behavior. So I took steps to change it. I put things on a whiteboard, I put things on stickies, because putting it in my phone wasn't working. So if you've got a situation in your life that's not working for you, then take some steps to change. It could be as simple as I haven't been doing the things I'd like to do before I go to bed at night to bring myself down so I can go to sleep easier. And I keep thinking them in my head and not doing them. So I took a sticky, a whole pad of them, and I wrote down one thing on each sticky, and I put them all over the door, the back of the door in my bedroom. So at night, I know that I have things that I can do to bring my day down, that I can calm myself with. And they're right there, and I don't have to wonder about them or worry about them. And that may help you. One of my very close friends said, if you think it, ink it. I love it. But that may be something you're done with. You're ready to turn the page. That doesn't mean that you leave or end certain things. You know, not everything. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. All right, let's move on. So during these times, you're going to be experiencing logic and you're going to be experiencing your heart, and the two are not usually matching. So now, for the next 15 days, you're going to be listening more to your heart. And if you're not used to that, and that's something that you're not used to listening to, it's going to bubble up until you hear it. So you might as well set some time aside to hear it. See what it has to say. Okay? And for those of you that live in your heart and your emotions and you're empathic or highly sensitive and this flows for you, then there's going to be some logical things that are going to pop up and say, you know, that's not a good idea. Let's look at it logically. And right now, logic is not the winner. It's the emotions. Logic can be used to look at the emotions, but it can't be used to process the emotions. Only the heart can process your emotions. That's it. Okay? The brain stores emotions you've felt in the past. So in the past, if you've felt certain things, stored those emotions or energies from past childhood, from past relationship, from trauma, however it is, you know, in your synapses, you store information back here. And the emotions come up, they're going to pull things forward. The emotions are going to bring things up that they've pulled from back here that it's time to deal with, or not. But I want to let you know that if it's an or not situation, this is no joke. 6 months from today, actually they say 5 months, 8 days is what I'm being told. This energy is going to come to an abrupt halt. So it's like the train's going 90 to nothing. It's going to go, and you know what that does? Whoa, right? And if you haven't taken care of the crap in that time, it's going to take care of you because you won't be able to ignore it anymore. Now, how that's going to work, I don't know realistically. They don't always tell me everything. All right, tools. So one of the big tools during this time is with the logic. Okay, this is with the logic, and where the logic comes in with the thinking is if somebody tells you something to be true, and especially right now what's going on in the world scene, I'd like for you to take some time to think about, does it make sense? That's about the only place that logic is fitting in right now. If it doesn't make sense, then know that there's something not right. And don't just swallow whatever poop sandwich they give you. So let me see if I can get this really quickly because I want to show you, sorry for the sound, but I want to show you something that you really are going to need during this time. It's something that humans always need. But our bodies are largely made of water. And I can't remember the exact figure, but I think it's like 86% water. So if you're not drinking enough water and these energies are up and down, up and down, up and down, you're going to feel dis-ease in your body. You may feel a lot of anxiety. You may feel a lot of stress. You may feel depression. You may want to just crawl in your hole. Those are all normal, very normal feelings right now. But if you do not take care of your body, it's not going to take care of you. And let's face it, this is the only vehicle that you have right now for your consciousness, for your soul, for your spirit. Okay? So tool number 1 to protect your energy is this. It's water. It's H2O. I recommend that you get the highest grade of water that you can, the highest purified filtered water that you can, because if you think about it, water goes down the toilet, water goes down our sinks, and who knows what people put in either one of those, right? So see what you can do about getting some purified water, filtered water, but drink it like crazy. Now, of course, I'm not a physician and I'm not a naturopath, but what I've read for myself is that for every 50 pounds that you weigh, I believe it is 1 quart of water is what you should consume every day. And I don't consume near that much right now, but I'm increasing it. I take it to work with me. I have it when I'm working out. I have it in my car, and I'm consuming it. Please don't in your head do the math and go, oh, I need to be drinking 2 gallons of water a day, and then go out and try to drink it, because you will literally drown yourself. Your body cannot process that much that quickly. You will drown yourself. So please don't do that. If you need help, if you have challenges, if your inner makings up have challenges processing water or liquids, please do check with your healthcare provider before you get started. But this is the number one tool. It will protect your energy. Your body will fatigue and want to go to sleep when it's too hot and doesn't get enough water. Oh, hello. Sorry. I'm looking at the camera when I'm doing this recording, and I can actually, I don't know if you can see it. Right over here, I can see a spirit light being. Cool. All right. Tool number 2. This one's going to hurt a bit, and I'm going to drop the truth bomb. And the truth bomb hurts. So if you don't want to hear it, put your fingers in the ears and go la, 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 okay? Here's tool number 2. Okay? Tool number 2 is a mirror. Oh, I didn't realize it was so dirty. Sorry. It's a mirror. So those relationships in your life right now that you may be having trouble with, it's a mirror for what's going on inside of you. But he blah, 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 blah. But she blah, blah, blah. Mm-mm. That's the stuff inside of you that's bothering you, that's in your emotional house, that's trying to get your attention to work on it, and the logical brain wants to blame it on everybody else, and especially those closest to it. So, turn around this way because I realized how dirty it was. Tool number 2 is get yourself a mirror and have a good look at what's inside yourself. Journaling is good. Seeing if you can sit still for 5 minutes without any stimulation. No phone, no TV, no radio, no nothing. See if you can do that for 5 minutes. Because when you do, your brain's going to go like a washing machine around and around and around and around. And finally, it will stop, or all the things that were going around in your brain, you will know what you have to work on. Okay. The next tool that I absolutely love, because these are times with a lot of anxiety involved in them, is this little guy, and it's called frankincense. Frankincense is calming. Frankincense can help people to deal with depression or anxiety. It's absolutely quite lovely. And for me, I just put it on, but I know some people need a carrier oil, so because they have allergic reactions, so be careful in using that or putting it in a diffuser. But it will help to calm you. It is absolutely wonderful. You can start your day with it. You can end your day with it. You can put it on when you go to bed out of a diffuser. But those are a couple of tools. Actually, those are 3 tools. All right. The next tool is to have an energy clearing, which is what I do when I connect in with God's Spirit Source and your guides. Find out what energy you're carrying, find out where it came from, and help you to release it. And so what this is doing is I'm tapping into your energy field and shifting the electromagnetism of your body so that those energies are moved out. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes people tell me they feel lighter instantly. If you're on Facebook, then you can look at my business page, and there's like 4 or 5 brand new testimonials there. So if you want to look at those. But You can clear your own energy and you can also learn how. But if you don't know, I'm more than happy to help you. I'm going to be opening up something new. My business is always changing. It seems like people are always needing something different because the energies are changing and things are changing. And so used to, I sold only 1 hour appointment slots, and that's all I did. And I found that, people would jump in or they wouldn't. And it usually takes an hour to do the first session to identify what your problem is, identify what your challenge is, to look at where it came from, to get the energy shifted, to give you some tools other than the ones I gave you here tonight to get you moving forward. And then I would meet with you again in another month. And what I'm finding is that people are needing 1 hour right up front. And then within 2 to 3 weeks, they need 30 minutes to keep them rolling, keep them going in the right direction, keep them purging, keep them transforming, however you want to look at it. But that's what's going on now. So you're going to see that change if you go to toolsofenergyprotection.com, click on appointments. I won't add them tonight, but I will add them tomorrow. But if you've never had a session with me, then you'll need to have a 1 hour first and then a half hour so that we can get that established, because if you just do a half hour, it's not enough time and you will not get the result that you're looking for. All right, coming up, July 4th is in America. If you're in America, it's Independence Day. It's a beautiful day to celebrate, to be with the families. Most of you have that time off. And so I am going to be working because I knew that some people would have that time off when they normally can't see me during the middle of the day, or they normally don't have time. Well, guess what? I'm going to be working the 4th and the 5th. So July 4th, I will be in Denver at the For Heaven's Sakes bookstore, but I'm only working from 10 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I can take some time off to be with my own family. So if you would like to call the store, 303-964-9339, and get on the books, there's an extra added bonus, so don't tune out. That particular day, because it is a holiday, it will be $1.25 a minute. That is the lowest that I am doing for sessions. So if you've been looking for a discount, need a little help, you want to jump on that one right away, because I'm sure by this time tomorrow it will be filled. Okay, $1.25 a minute, minimum 30 minutes. All right, moving right along. Let's see here. There's also going to be some stones offered at the store that day to help you be open-minded, to be at one with community, and celebrate freedom, which reminds me, that is the other thing that's going on with this energy shift, is lots and lots of spiritual freedom. So you've got, the heart, the logic, the heart, the logic, the heart, the logic. But underlying all of that is this spiritual freedom, because it's this beautiful, uplifting energy. So I'm going to be very frank with you, very, very real. This energy that's lifting us all up, that's causing us to go, right, emotionally, is actually there to support the transition that's going to take place in the next, 2 weeks or so. I think I'll have to check on the exact transit. But this energy is shifting and changing us right now. A lot of us are holding on, going, I don't want to change. No, everything has to be settled before I jump. Being real. That's who I am. I like to have goals. I like to have tangible things to mark off. And I like to be sure-footed. This energy shift is not sure-footed, people. It just isn't. And it's not going to be. And depending on what kind of personality you have, if you're like me, I usually look before I leap, but sometimes I'm like, what the schmeg, and I just leap. And right now, that's what's happening more for me than any other energy, is I'm just like looking at it and I'm just jumping in, right? Either I'm closing the door on certain things that aren't working for me and looking for a new door to open up, or I'm just opening up a new door. Some of you have to think a while. I get that. But again, remember, that's the logic. All right. So the other thing that was brought to my attention is that I think 2 or 3 broadcasts ago, I talked about July 4th in America. And I got a little bit political, which I generally don't. And I was talking about how the energies and the stars are aligning, similar to like how they were in between World War II And if I'm not mistaken, it was near the Declaration of Independence, or maybe it was the first war after that. But these times are changing, and you can imagine in a new country, if things are being created and things are being formed, people are edgy anyway, because that, you want to talk about being uncertain. Have you ever really thought about that? Have you really thought about the people that came here to found America? I learned about that in my daughter's eighth grade history class last semester again. And I really thought about it. Here are these people that are coming across an ocean, talking about edgy and jumping off. And they don't know what they're going to find when they get there. They don't know what season it's going to be. They don't know if there's going to be food there. And they get there exhausted. You know how it is after you travel, you're exhausted. And you get somewhere, you just want a nice bed and a shower. Think about what they faced. And then more came, and they began to pull themselves together and become united, and they decided that they wanted to make their own country. Do you realize how edgy that is? Do you realize the guts that takes? The planning, the really making a decision and sticking to it? I mean, can you imagine if they made this decision and formed this union and it didn't work out and they're like, oh, well, I guess it didn't work out. We'll just call the queen and say, gee, queen, we're sorry. Can we come back? You know what that would have ended in, right? But they kept going and they did the best they could. That's the same energy that's going on right here, right now. And I don't know because I've never met any of those guys, but when they sat down, to come up with the rules and the regulations and how it was going to look, I'm sure it was not everybody was sitting down going, woohoo, this is great, let's ink it and do it. I'm sure there was some discussion. So please, whatever relationship you're in, have a discussion. And number one relationship, right now especially, is between you and God, Spirit, or Source. You got to strengthen that. Whatever you do, pray, fast, meditate, read the Bible, do yoga, read something uplifting, just talking to the boss. Wherever that is, get there and stay there. Number 2 relationship. I feel like the top 10. Number 2 relationship right now. Please hear me. It's a relationship with yourself. If you are not happy within yourself for whatever reason, this is no work for you. You have to look at things within yourself. Logic, emotions. Logic, emotions. The more that you look at the relationship with yourself and what's going on inside you, the more calm and the more settled you're going to be. And the easier this energy shift will be, the faster that you get it done. Number 3 relationship is the person that's closest to you right now in your life. Or persons, you could put an S on it. Your spouse, your lover, your children, your significant other. Whoever is in the closest proximity, the top 4 or 5 people that are near you that you interact with every single day, those are the ones you would also be smart to have a look at and see what's happening with them. How do they make you feel inside? Is that your poop or theirs? Or both of yours? Because I'm going to show you this tool again. You want to know whose poop it is? Have a look in the mirror. Okay? Have a look in the mirror. Because generally speaking, that's whose poop it is. Okay? You get 2 people that have this poop going on that are going up and down, and it's going to spark a little bit unless you sit down and talk about it or cool off or whatever you need to do. Get some help if you need it. Get a counselor. Come see me. I'll clear the energy. Something. You got to get a hold of it because this energy is edgy. All right. Anyway, so I think it was 3 or 4 broadcasts ago. I was talking about the energy shift coming up like now. And I was getting that the energy would be really, really edgy. and that somewhere in the world scene something would start that would be along the same scale as 9/11. But I didn't know which country, I didn't know who was doing it, and all that stuff, which would probably get me in trouble if I did. But I was checking a couple of days ago and I asked how much of that was going to come into fruition, and I got about 50%. So whoever planned it and was going to pull it off wasn't quite ready. And so I wanted to be clear about that because I had some people that were freaking out about that. And again, my job is not to cause freak out, but to encourage you and nudge you to get it together. But I'm asking now, where is it at? And I'm getting about 65%. So they're not quite ready to do whatever it is. So that tells me that whoever these powers that be are probably have some other powers that be. It wouldn't surprise me, logic, emotions, the emotions, let's pull the trigger. And the logic's like, no, let's not. Let's see what's going to happen, or what'll happen after that if we pull the trigger might not be too pretty. So that's what's going on there. And my apologies to anybody that put into fear because it wasn't my intention. All right. Now I'm going to check the feed and see if there's any questions, or at least ones I can see, because I know sometimes the feed is in a position where it's hard for me to read because this is an app on my laptop. I'm still working on getting the camera hooked up for the live. I think the camera will give us such a nice picture and really help the lighting situation a lot more, but it's a matter of figuring it out and getting a mic and some other things that I haven't gotten set up yet, but I'm working on it. So we'll get that taken care of. Okay, so it looks like I don't really have any questions. I do have some people nodding their head and agreeing. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And that is it. I'll wait a couple seconds and tell you a few more things, or a couple minutes, and then I'm going to, sign off for tonight. But there is one more tool that I can share with you in protecting your own energy, and that is exercise. And so I'm finding that going every day to the gym and getting at least a minimum of 20 minutes cardio is really, really beneficial because it helps your body to process a lot of things. It helps your body to eliminate a lot of things, and it will help with stress, and it will help with anxiety, and it will help with depression by decreasing the things and getting your body in a better position. So I would recommend that you look at that. And I'm still not seeing any questions in the feed, so I will. Oh wait, here's one. Let's see here. It says, should we suppress our logic for now so that our heart can take charge? That's a great question. The answer is no. This is a dance. The heart is attempting to talk to the brain, to lighten things up, to tell the brain what's not right, because most of us that live in our logical brains go around like this a lot, and we only see what's right in front of us, and we don't have the peripheral vision that the heart provides. But suppressing anything is going to be toxic, because remember, you've got the logic heart, logic emotions. If you can put a damper on that and hold one down, good luck with that, because it's not going to happen. So instead of suppressing the logic, listen to your heart. Get your mind to listen to what's in your heart. Like the woman I told you I talked to earlier this week. Her heart is telling her that, she can't survive emotionally, let alone physically, in her current relationship because she's fatigued all the time. And that's no way to be in a relationship, but have a relationship that's wearing you out. And she's attempted to express herself over and over to her partner, and the partner's attempting the same thing to express himself over and over. But they're not talking the same language. And when she told me what was going on, standing on the outside looking in, I can see it. And I was able to say, here's what, you here's what I think he's trying to tell you, and here's what you're telling him, and here's how you can match it up. So I'll revisit that in a few days, and what I'm hoping is that that helped to bring two people together instead of being at odds. The logic is on one side and the heart is on the other, and it's just like those two people. They're trying to communicate, but they're not hearing each other. Generally, but not always, it's the logic saying we can't do that because that would cause problems, or we need to, as you put it, suppress it so it won't cause any issues. We'll deal with it later. Well, what happens is when you suppress anything, emotions or logic, your body deals with it. Your physical body is a reflection of what's going on the inside. Okay? It's that simple, but it's also that complex. I happen to have an extra tire around my middle that, the doctors say is because of my age. And hormones have a large part to do in that, but I'm not going to tolerate for a minute. Oh, yeah, it's my hormones, so it's okay for me to have a middle. Oh, heck no, I'm going to the gym. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to go to a specialist and find out, what do I need to do? What can I do to support my hormones? Because it's just not acceptable. But my body is telling me that, yes, age is a factor, no joke, got it. But my body's also telling me that this cushion is an extra cushion that I had to protect part of my gut instinct. And a lot of times our gut instinct will talk to our heart, and our heart takes action. Sometimes our gut instinct talks to our logical mind, and our logical mind doubts, especially if you're empathic or highly sensitive. Your gut may take you, you walk into a grocery store somewhere, and your gut goes, no, 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 it's not feeling good. No, no, we got to leave, we got to leave. And your logical mind goes, oh, just be a minute, I'm grabbing milk and bread. And then the next thing you know, maybe the power goes out. Maybe some wacko, attacks the grocery store. Maybe a tornado comes and takes the top off of a grocery store, anything. But when you're not following your gut because it doesn't seem right, and the logical brain's like, well, there's nothing wrong, and I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to do that. That's a big word to watch for, by the way, just. If you look up the root of the word just doing this, just doing that, it means justification. And if you have to tell me I'm just going to do this, you're trying to justify your actions to me when you know those actions aren't correct to begin with. And you expect me to swallow it. Well, guess what? These new energy shifts, they're not allowing the swallow. The BS is not being swallowed anymore, and people are speaking out. That's what's happening. And it seems like everybody's speaking out. The only problem with that is nobody's listening. So listening skills are huge right now. My daughter was telling me she was upset about something. So I listened, and that was my emotions, listening, wanting to know what was causing her challenges and desiring to make it right. Now, we can't always make things right for our kids. They say, hey, I rang my credit card up to $1 million. Can you help me? You probably can't. But her desire was to be heard. I heard what she said, and I took a while to process it in my emotions, in my mind, before making a decision. So perhaps that's the best thing to do. Not suppress either one, but to think about it with your heart mind and think about it with your logic mind and go from there. And just know that these new energies that are coming in, really, when they first started coming in and I first started feeling them, I was so anxious and so weirded out because I felt like I was on roller skates and had no control of anything in my life. Everything went wee. And it's a reordering of things in my life. God supports me in my work. He supports me in my life, and he's just like, hey, these things aren't working for you. And you could be so much happier if you change or let go of these things. This is a time for transformation, people. If you haven't gotten that message already, wake up, okay? Staying stagnant isn't going to get you anywhere. And if you stay there 6 months from now, when we have the next transition, I don't have words for it. I just won't be happy. Any other questions? Thank you for that one. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be working, though, on putting out more information either through email or through Facebook or through Instagram so that people know when these are and come and show up for these. I don't mind doing them. I actually, I love it. It's a chance to really share. But if I'm going to get less than, 50 people that show up for them, then I'm going to close the door on this and make another choice. So, people will come afterwards and they watch the recording, and I don't mind that either. But, if I'm here for you, I would appreciate if you would send me your love back. If you can't be here live, text me. If you can't be here live, send me an email and let me know what your questions are. Let me know what your frustrations are, so at least you're getting that message. Because, just watching the recording and not reaching out to me or not having your questions answered is not going to work for you. It just isn't. So I hope you'll take some time to send me an email, text. If you're on YouTube, put a comment. If you don't want to comment publicly, go to toolsofenergyprotection.com and click on contact. And there's ways to privately message me. You can do that on YouTube or Instagram as well. You can privately message me. But anyway, that's the time of transformation. It depends where you are in your life. It depends on what the relationships look like in your life as to how you're going to do with the logic and the emotions, and the logic and the emotions. So there are a lot of combinations. There's things that are going to start in relationships that have never been there before. There are things that are going to end that have been there before. There's going to be relationships where people or experiences come together and say, okay, we can meet together here and go forward. But I will tell you, it's not limited to humans. Relationships can also be with money. The way that you've been working with your money in the past may not be working for you. Time to make a different choice. Your relationship to money usually is directly how you feel about yourself. It can also be, I believe they call it an aphrodisiac, because they looked at people that go shopping a lot and they looked how it stimulated the brain, and it's really close to cocaine. So people can have a shopping addiction. People can also not be in a job where they're making enough money, and that can be self-limiting. And so that's another relationship with money. There's so many different relationships. But the best relationship with money is to realize that it's an energy exchange. And what you give, you receive back. Energy exchange, money. What you give, you receive back. If you're giving and you're not receiving back when it comes to money, time to make a different choice about how you spend it, how you invest it, how you earn it, all those things, because that's an investment of your time and who you are. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And remember, toolsofenergyprotection.com. Tomorrow I will have 30-minute appointments posted. There's also hour appointments that are available. I will be working on Thursday and Friday. If you book Thursday at the bookstore, it is $1.25 a minute, minimum 30 minutes. That's the lowest rate you're going to see it for a long time. So if you need to, jump on that. And then Friday will be in my office, or you can do it by phone or Zoom. And we can get you turned around in the right direction. And then that'll be it. So I hope you have a great and wonderful night. Big hugs and kisses. A lot to digest in this video. So if you're seeing it for the first time, it did go a little long. And you can see the replay and use that little bar at the bottom to scoot along to whatever part made the most sense to you. But I wish you all a great, wonderful evening. Have a happy 4th of July. Spend some time with family and friends celebrating the freedom of this country, celebrating your right to make choices, and celebrating the freedom to be at one with God's Spirit or Source and know that God's Spirit or Source loves you unconditionally, no matter if you're making big mistakes or great leaps and bounds. So, have a great and wonderful night.